When the Bible references a global flood in Genesis 7 through 8, I personally believe that that literally means that the entire land of the entire earth was covered by water. Don't just take my word for it. Let's look at some of the evidence that I found really compelling. So evidence number one of a global flood is that fossils are found way above sea level. This, of course, would have to be due to the global flood waters going above the continents, above all the land, and reaching all of those really high places that we do find fossils. Fossilized shellfish have even been found as far up as in the Himalayas, which is crazy to me. It's just funny to think that so many people even deny the existence of a global flood. They completely ignore all the evidence, but it's like, look at the science. Evidence number two is that there was a rapid burial of plants and animals. We see that through the layers in coal. I see it all the time in West Virginia. You just see coal layers throughout the earth, and that would have had to have been caused by plants and animals being in that sediment, and then it rapidly covering it up and pressing it down, and ultimately turning it into coal. Not to mention, when you look at the Grand Canyon, there are billions of nautiloid fossils that are found in layers within the Redwall limestone of the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon has tons of evidence, but that's a video in of itself. Evidence number three are the rapidly deposited sediment layers that are spread across vast areas. That means all of the sediment would have had to have settled down across a large amount of space, like a large, literally continent wide. One example of this is the trapeze sandstone that is spread all across North America and Canada. It's even found as far as England, and there's also the Cliffs of Dover, they're chalk beds. They are spread far and wide, and really the only conclusion of how these geological formations could have formed is all of the sediment layers settling at one time together, because they all connect. There are many more examples of that I have linked down below if you guys are curious. It is literally in every single continent in the world. Evidence number four, sediment transported long distances. We often find sediment in those widespread, rapidly deposited rock layers that had to be eroded from distant sources and carried long distances by fast-moving waters. The sand for the Coconino Sandstone of the Grand Canyon had to be eroded and transported from the northern portion of what is now the United States and Canada. Furthermore, water current indicators, such as ripple marks that you see here, they're preserved in rock layers, show that for what experts like to call the 300 million years that water currents were constantly flowing that eroded that area. This, of course, is only possible over the course of weeks with a global flood with a ton of water. This is not possible over millions and millions of years of erosion. It's just not how you get these different layers. And the sediment couldn't be transported in that fashion. And the last body of evidence that we're going to talk about in this video is the rapid or no erosion between the strata. What we find is evidence of a rapid erosion or even no erosion at all between the rock layers. What we do find are flat, knife-edge boundaries between the rock layers that indicates a continuous deposit of one layer after another. Just from what it looks like, this doesn't look like the right saying that it was millions and millions of years that caused this erosion. It just doesn't seem likely. For example, if you look at the Grand Canyon, two of the most well-known layers of the Grand Canyon are the Coconino Sandstone and the Hermit Formation. There are no evidence of millions of years between these layers of erosion that you would likely find if that much time passed between those two layers. But don't take my word for it. What do you guys think? Look at it yourself and tell me, is this enough evidence to come to the conclusion that there was a global flood? Do you guys agree with my assessment, or do you have a different opinion? Please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. Alrighty, I will see you all in the next one. Bye now. I'm getting all of this information from the website Answers in Genesis, which is a great resource if you're interested in science and creationism.